Welcome to Tru Heel Heat, the place where we use insider terms because we think we know what the fuck we're talking about, even though we don't. My name's Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. We are back once again right here on the Tru Heel Heat Sports YouTube channel for a glorious day. It's a glorious day because we are at the Final Four of the NBA playoffs. Tru Heel Heat Check number 7, previewing the East and West Conference Finals of the NBA playoffs. If you're kind of like, where's Chris G? Chris G could not make it today. He's a busy man, probably consoling himself for what his team did in the semifinals. But we have a brave Nick Soul here with us. He is surrounded by what seems like purple skies instead of blue and orange skies.
Dark and gloomy.
Thank you for that. We have Mr. Romeo Anthony Cologne. Thank you so much. You are the third, the big three of our big three here on Tru Heel Heat Check, and I appreciate you filling in, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing all right. I've had time to get over the loss. I'm doing much better than John Moran, I'll tell you that much.
We didn't when we did our pre-show meeting. I forgot that we got to talk about that as well. But yes, there's a lot to talk about here on Tru Heel Heat Check. We thank everyone who is joining us live, everyone who is joining us on demand. Of course, sound off in the live chat. We love to hear from all of you. Give your thoughts on the semifinals. Give us your predictions for the conference finals and what you think about John Morant. You could sound off in the live chat at the same like the Tru Heel Heat main channel where you got to send a super chat donation. We'll highlight as many of the comments as we see coming in with us live. But of course, if you're watching us on demand, let us know in the comments down below what you thought about the semifinals, your prediction for the conference finals, and yes, your prediction for the future of John Morant. We got Frantic World here with us in the chat saying, "What's up, SP3 Romeo and Chad, LA Lakers in 4. So smart man right there. Appreciate that.
And subscribe. We're only 10 subscribers away from 400.
10 subscribers away from 400 subscribers. We're less than a year into our run here on Tru Heel Heat Sports YouTube channel. So we're glad that we're getting all that support. We appreciate you all for joining us. But yes, we are here to preview the NBA playoffs next round, the conference finals. But we're also here to discuss what went down in the semifinals, the Elite Eight of the NBA finals. And we'll start with your New York Knicks. New York Knicks coming up short against the Miami Heat. In 6 games, 4-2 was the final result. How do you feel about losing to what I call the greatest 8th seed in the NBA playoffs since your 1999 New York Knicks?
I thought it should have been much closer. The Knicks had me feeling good in that game 6. They had an early lead in the first quarter. They blew it. It seemed to be the same story the whole series where they just cannot defend the three-pointer at all. The Heat with strategy was simply drive to the lane, pretend you're going to go for a 2-pointer, but really we're just going to pass it out for an open 3. Somebody's going to be open. It was obvious. It was clear as day. I got to think Tibbs knew it as well, but the personnel was just not having it, especially one, Julius Randle, who just looked like he didn't want to be there most of the time. He's zero effort, zero hustle. I respect him for playing hurt. I guess he's playing hurt still. But the lack of effort is just not characteristic under this coach. It's not characteristic under this city. The city's not going to have that. Changes have to be made. It's the one glaring obvious change the Knicks need to make is get Julius Randle, get whatever you can for him. He is somebody's going to want. He's all NBA third team still.
I
He'll
mean,
get you for the playoffs.
sometimes though the playoffs can hurt your trade value, and you need what you really need is a more reliable, more consistent number two to Jalen Brunson, because Jalen Brunson had a hell of a postseason, averaging 28 points per game. He averaged a steal and a half, almost 6 assists, almost 5 rebounds. He shot the ball pretty well as well, 47% from the field. Not the greatest from 3-point line, considering in the regular season he averaged 42% from 3, and in the playoffs he only averaged 33% from the 3, but he was the most reliable and consistent scorer for the Knicks. You guys need a number 2 that's a lot more reliable. I'm not saying that I think that, yeah, you probably can trade Julius Randle and there is some value for him, but I don't know if you're going to fill in that spot for that number 2. But your performance from the regular season and your performance getting to the second round in these playoffs will probably entice some free agent. There has to be a free agent out there that might think about it. Klay Thompson is going to be thinking about his future coming up here. So there's guys like that. You got to find somebody that can be that secondary scorer behind Jalen Brunson. I think that's the key for the Knicks going forward.
What's funny is that, you were looking for Jalen Brunson to be the number 2 guy, but next to a superstar that's better than him.
Yeah.
And then look at him. He is him. He is Jalen Brunson him. That's his new nickname. Jalen Brunson him. You don't have to question his effort. He was there. He was trying. You don't have to question that. And New York loves him now. He's earned it. They love him now. He is now the face of the Knicks right now.
In comparison, since we gave you Jalen Brunson's averages for the postseason, his second was supposed to be his secondary partner, Julius Randle, in the regular season, he averaged 25 points per game on 10 rebounds, 4 assists, on 34% from 3, 46% from the field. Damn, did you see his postseason numbers though?
No, but I can guess.
16 and a half points per game. 8 rebounds, 3.5 assists on 37% from the field and 26% from 3.
Yeah. And those numbers don't tell you is how grumpy he looks on the floor. Just barely jogging back on defense, matador defense. Yeah. It's hard to watch. This team will never win with him here. Sorry. I had some good times, some good memories, but I can't take the lack of effort. My players have to try.
That's fair. That is fair. Yeah, it wasn't the best effort from your guy there, and you didn't
RJ stepped up.
Yeah, RJ did. RJ definitely did, and
RJ shows you this glimmer of hope where you believe in his development. If he could play like this, you believe that maybe he can stick around. And you don't necessarily have to trade him, but we'll see.
Yeah, and you didn't even get killed by Jimmy Butler either, because Jimmy only averaged about 24, 25 points per game in that series. He missed the whole game. That was one of the games that y'all were able to pull out, but it was the real key to this was stealing game 1. That's what's been the key for the 2 lower seeds that are now in the conference finals, is stealing one of those 2 first home games from the higher seed, and that was the key. I think the way they played in game 1 was an aberration to what they were going to do in the rest of the season, which was kill you from 3, hit the 3. All the guys that coming off the street were basically hitting 3s on you. It wasn't even Jimmy Butler and the usual suspects from the Miami Heat that were really killed you in this series. It was all the role players who was hitting 3s in this one.
Great coaching by Spoelstra. He is the best coach remaining in the playoffs. Probably the best one to this past round too.
It's true, but you gotta hand it to the Miami Heat. I don't think anyone saw them getting this far and playing the way they have. It's been a magical playoff run for Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, and now they face a familiar foe because we gotta move on, Romeo, and talk about the final game of the semifinals, which was Game 7, the Boston Celtics versus the Philadelphia 76ers. And I have never in my life seen a team give up this badly in the fucking third quarter. The third quarter, I mean, the real turnaround, it started in the second quarter because Philly came out playing well. They were up by 6 going into the second quarter. They were down by 3 after halftime, but the second quarter was when the Boston Celtics really started, gelling together. That's when Jason Tatum really started going off on these guys. I think he had 25 points in the first half before he just went off even more in the second half. But that third quarter, they won 33-10. 10 points in the third quarter. But since we started with the Knicks talking about the other half of the Eastern Conference semifinals, we got to start with the losers of this series, the Philadelphia 76ers. And my oh my, MVP Joel Embiid. We got Derby in the chat who's saying the Joker was the true MVP. The process was a failure. I am somebody that has, been very adamant that I thought Joel Embiid should have won at least one of the last 2 years. But I'm also someone that's been on record on here, over on FMC, on Fightful Overbook, that Jokic deserved the MVP more this year than the last 2 years, in my opinion, because the key factor that stopped him from, being MVP in my eyes the last 2 years was his team performance. His team is a whole lot better, a whole lot healthier this season, and they finished the first seed in the West, and he put up monster numbers. I thought he deserved the MVP more this year than any of the other 2 years, and I think that voter fatigue and the fact that he won the previous 2 MVPs was the reason why they went with Joel Embiid this year. But Joel Embiid's performance in Game 7 was just disgusting. That's the best way I can put it. It was fucking disgusting. He went in Game 7, went 5 of 18, 15 points, 8 rebounds in 38 minutes. What do you think about Joel Embiid, the reigning NBA regular season MVP, and this deplorable performance in Game 7 against the Boston Celtics last night?
You know what it reminded me of? It was a Julius Randle-like effort. He had the same disgusting body language that I saw from Randle. Just barely running around, jogging. Is he still hurt? He has to be still hurting to not be out there putting in any effort. Because sometimes he will put effort. I saw some of it in Game 5, Game 6. It's a lack of effort. It's just ugly body language, deflated, defeated. Everybody, and then the audacity after the game to say, me and James Harden, we can't do it ourselves. Really? Because I could have sworn I saw Tyrese Maxey out there busting his ass, especially the previous game. He's shown up trying to help you out scoring wise. Tobias Harris, I think he had more points than you, or he had more points than Harden at least. Even PJ Tucker knocked down open threes for once. I couldn't believe it. Everybody out there is trying, except you two. You two had stinker games. So I don't want to hear this. We need help. How much help do you need? And Doc Rivers, my goodness, you choked it again.
Again.
3-2 lead at home to close it out, and you blew it, and you couldn't steal it at Game 7. Something has to change in Philadelphia, big time.
Yeah, something has to change. Like, they thought that bringing in Doc that was going to be the change. They thought trading to get Harden was going to be the change. But here we are, another postseason, another second round knockout. Even Joel Embiid in this whole process era of the Philadelphia 76ers has not made a goddamn conference finals. Like, I thought all this time, I was like under the impression that they at least went to one, and he just lost, and that's why people forget it. But no, he's never even been to the conference finals, let alone the NBA finals. It's like, when are people gonna stop believing in this team? It feels like every season we just repeat the same process. That is the definition.
The process, yeah.
That is the definition of insanity, is just retread the same process. There needs to be a major change in this one. And I go back to Jimmy Butler's whole loud declarative statement after they went to the conference finals last season. He screamed out in the locker room when he was going back into the locker room, "You picked Tobias Harris over me?" I mean, Tobias Harris was the leading scorer for the team last night, so you needed.
Yeah, but imagine Butler on this team instead. You have Butler and Embiid.
I mean, that would have been much better with the way Jimmy Butler plays in the playoffs. But jeez,
by the way, that stat you said, he hasn't made a conference finals. The only MVP in history who's never done that. I'm not saying, like, this is not saying that, oh, he didn't do it the year he won MVP. It's saying that whoever has won MVP has been to a conference finals at least sometime in their career.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's a crazy statistic when you really think about it, that Joel Embiid is viewed as one of the best players in the NBA, but he's never even been to the conference finals. Like, and just the ways that he's lost. Like, the only one that I think is kind of like a loss that he can like stand up on is the lucky shot by Kawhi in 2019. But other than that, and you had the embarrassment against the Atlanta Hawks.
It's them and Boston. They're supposed to be the two best teams in the East every year. Them and Boston. Yeah. And Boston, they get there.
They always at least get there. Yeah, they always at least get there, but it just seems like Philly can't do it. But not to put too much focus and too much of the spotlight on the 76ers, we got to talk about the Boston Celtics, and we got to talk about Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is stealing Steph Curry's one real big accomplishment from this postseason of scoring 50 points in a game 7. The most points in a game 7 only lasted about 2 weeks before Jason Tatum here in game 7 against the Philadelphia 76ers, dropping 51 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. He was just going off, especially in the third quarter. He went 17 of 28 from the field, 40 in 42 minutes, and really led the charge for the Boston Celtics, winning 112-88 in game 7 here, after probably his worst performance in the playoffs that we ever seen from him in game 6, where they still won. That was the thing that made, I think that's where Philly will really look back on even more than their horrible performance in game 7, is the fact that Jason Tatum had his worst performance yet in a playoff in game 6, and they still fucking lost. They still fucking lost that one. Jason Tatum coming off game 6, where he had 19 points on 6 assists and 9 rebounds, 5 of 21 from the field in game 6. But man, what can you say about Jason Tatum? What did you think about that performance? You were watching it here live on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. What did you think?
For Tatum, as bad as that game 6 was, you saw him come alive in the fourth quarter. And you saw him take that momentum into game 7, and then bam. Now, if you're a Celtics fan, you're hoping Tatum takes this momentum that he's firing on all cylinders now. He has to take that to the next round. He can't do this shit where he did this round, where it was up and down, up and down.
Yeah,
he can't. I mean, the Celtics are good enough to like overcome something like that because Jaylen Brown's consistent, and their role players have been busting their ass. They've been playing real good. Al Horford is out there busting his ass. Marcus Smart, Brogdon, Robert Williams is getting his rebounds. They're all clicking. It's just if Tatum is Tatum, this team is going to the finals and could possibly win it if he is Tatum. But that's always been the question. When we compare Tatum to the greats in the league, he has to be consistent. Where's that consistency? You saw what he's capable of.
Yeah, Tatum is kind of have to lead the charge. He is the best player on the Boston Celtics, but it's really always been about, is he the leader of the Boston Celtics? Like, sometimes people say Jaylen Brown is the leader or Al Horford is the leader, but Tatum, to take that next step in his career, he needs to not only be the best player, which he is, kind of I don't think there is a debate anymore after that performance last night that he is the best player on the Boston Celtics, but can he be the leader? Can he be the vocal leader? Can he be the leader on the floor? I think this series with the Miami Heat is going to be the real decider. But Jaylen Brown had a great game as well last night with 25 points, 6 rebounds. You had Brogdon off the bench with 12 points. Al Horford's defense on Joel Embiid was giving him fits ever since like the closing moments, fourth quarter of Game 4. He's been giving Joel Embiid the business on defense, and Anna Horford, his wife, has been talking shit on social media after the Philly fans tried to drag her.
Horford's been great, man. He's 35 years old. And he's good for like a steal and a block every game, and knock down some threes. He's playing his role perfect.
He is for sure. But we got to finish recapping the semifinals here. We do got to highlight this comment here from Frantic World, who says, talk about Joel Embiid saying, take his MVP away from him and give it to someone else. No, the MVP is a regular season award. He was the second. He would if I had a vote in the media, which I should at this point because I do enough basketball podcasts, I would have had Joel Embiid number 2. So I don't think that you can take it away, but just his words. I think it was more damaging how he played combined with the press conference afterwards, saying that him and Harden need help and can't do it alone.
And then, he echoes Giannis's comments, which I still hate. It's not a failure. Yes, the fuck it is. It's a failure.
No, it's not. It's a disappointment. It's a disappointment. There's a difference to me between a disappointment and a failure. But he was saying, first he said it was a failure, and then he said no.
It made no sense whatsoever. But I did think Embiid deserved the MVP this year. I'd say SP3 has more of a right to vote than Mark Jackson, who Mark Jackson didn't even have Jokic in his top 5. Come on, stop it.
That's just outrageous.
That's just racist.
Yeah, that's where the race comes into it, and that's why Mark Jackson probably ain't going to get that coaching job.
And there are some openings right now. There are some appealing openings.
Dude, before we get into the Western Conference, we could talk a little bit about that, because it seems like all these good coaches that got fired are in position to get some even better jobs for them. Like, we're about to talk about the whole Phoenix Suns and Nuggets series, and Monty Williams coming off winning the Coach of the Year last year, got fired after the series. But him right there, he's one of the people that I'm interested to see where he would go. And
I'll tell you where he's going.
He's already being talked about for the Bucks position.
That's exactly where he's going. His personality meshes with that city, that leader, Giannis. They would get along great. He's going there.
I can see it.
2-time Coach of the Year. It's time for Kevin Durant to GM again.
Kevin Durant never takes the blame. He puts it on one of these coaches. Who do you think is going to fill that Phoenix spot if Monty Williams goes to the Bucks?
Here comes the return, Steve Nash.
I thought the same thing.
He's fit naturally with a Phoenix destination. I'm back.
KD gonna be like, nah, it was Kyrie that had the issue with you. I thought you were good. It was fine with me. Mark Jackson, I believe, is getting some mentions. I think I've seen him for a few teams getting mentioned. Do you think that this is finally going to be the year that Mark Jackson gets a coaching job again?
I'm gonna say no. I don't have any reasoning behind that. I'm just gonna go with what's been the norm.
I always thought that Mark Jackson was a better fit for the Knicks, going back to the Knicks or one of his old teams, even like Indiana. I would say that as well. We got they're interviewing him. They say the Bucks are one of the teams that are going to be interviewing him. So we shall see how that goes down, but I don't like that fit for the Bucks. Personally, I do agree with you. Monty Williams seems like a shoo-in for that Bucks position. He just fits what Giannis does and what that team likes to do.
Yeah. Do you see Doc getting fired?
I mean, I think he's gonna have to. This man has lost 10 game sevens in his career. Like, you know, the key to Doc is just get the job done in game 6. Don't ever go to a game 7 if Doc Rivers is your coach, because he's not going to be able to make the adjustments to get the job done for you, it seems.
Yeah.
Sad. But like we said, we're going to talk about Phoenix Suns and the Nuggets. You guys can keep bringing in the comments. We got Safet here with us. Safet, you missed us talking about the New York Knicks, so you're good. You don't have to do the la 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 la. But yes. Let's talk about the Nuggets and the Suns. This is another series ended in 6 games where it was looking like a pretty even match series through 4 games when it was 2-2 and nobody had won at on the road as of yet. But the Nuggets just kind of put their will over the Phoenix Suns and showed that they were a much deeper team than the Suns were, especially in those last 2 games where they really just demolished them. Game 5, they won 118-102. This was another one that the whole series really turned around in the third quarter, because they beat the first half. It was kind of evenly matched. They had a 3-point lead going into the second half, but then the third quarter in game 5, they won 39-25 and just really took over the game. That game had Jokic with 29 points, 12 assists, and 13 rebounds. You had Bruce Brown off the bench dropping 25. You had Jamal Murray with 19, Michael Porter Jr., MPJ with 19 and 8. And the Suns, the key with the Nuggets and the Suns is that the Nuggets was just such a more deeper and versatile team than the Suns. The Suns had 4 players for them to rely on, and then one of those players got hurt in Chris Paul, which death, taxes, Chris Paul gets injured, or he chokes in the playoffs. That's the 3 guarantees in life, ladies and gentlemen. I tried telling you all a few years ago. I was like, that man going to choke when he made to the NBA. You remember when he made it to the NBA Finals, Romeo, in 2021? And everybody was saying Chris Paul, top 5 point guard of all time. And I was just standing up here. I was in a group chat when we weren't doing a podcast, and I was telling everybody, oh, he going to choke. I was like, everybody want to talk about Doc Rivers choking, but don't remember that most of the teams Doc Rivers choked on, it was with Chris Paul. Chris Paul's a choke artist. He's a choke artist, and he's the worst type of choke artist because sometimes he's choking and he ain't even there because he gets injured. 3-2 against the Golden State Warriors. I remember that. I got a good memory. I remember all the times this man choked. This man choked in an LA Clippers jersey. This man choked in a Houston Rockets jersey. And now he's choking in a Phoenix Suns jersey. The only jersey he ain't choking is the Oklahoma City Thunder because he wasn't there long enough to start choking.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Phoenix Suns and what this team is going to have to do to get the depth that they need to make a run and live up to everybody that thought a lot of people voted them. I think when we were doing, I know you do the bracket thing on NBA.com. I think the Suns were like the leaders in the West to come out the West on due to people predicting the brackets beforehand, because everybody thought, oh, you got the big 4. That's all you need. And what we've seen in these playoffs, especially with teams like the Miami Heat, like the LA Lakers, like the Denver Nuggets, you need a deeper team to make it this far. But what do you think the Suns are going to have to do?
Yeah, that was my feeling for the Suns going into the playoffs, is that, they didn't have the chemistry and they didn't have depth, and they had terrible defense too. And Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, they tried their damnedest to just will them to victory just on their shots alone. I mean, it was a good effort. It was a good try. Devin Booker had one of the best playoff runs, stats wise, that we've seen in quite some recent time. But listen, they just weren't deep enough, and Jokic he beat them into submission. He beat DeAndre Ayton, barbecue chicken alert, so much that he got a rib injury out of nowhere, and he just gave up. He's like, I've had enough. Tap, 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 tap. Jokic was on one. He was on one. He couldn't be stopped at all. And Denver just had more depth, and you can't win a playoff series with just two guys. They were playing a whole bunch of minutes too. Woof! They were playing a lot of minutes.
They pretty much had to play 38 to 40 minutes every single night for them to have a chance, and they had a chance. They got it to 2-2, and it was looking like a very evenly matched series. And then Denver just their depth just kind of killed them in the end. And talking about Devin Booker, who in the regular season he averaged 28 points, 5.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds on 49% from the field, 35% from three. His playoff numbers were just ridiculous. He averaged 34 points per game, 7 assists, 5 rebounds on 58% from the field and 51% from three. Jesus Christ. But like you said, the minutes, he averaged 42 minutes per game in the postseason compared to 34 in the regular season. So,
and as far as what the Suns got to do going next, it's going to be, Kevin Durant bringing in the guys he wants to play with. They want to play with him. Might not necessarily be the best fit, but they're boys. They're friends, So that's what it's going to turn into, and it's not going to work. It just never works unless he's standing next to Steph Curry. Unless he's bringing in Curry. It's not going to work again.
Yeah, that's what it seems like what's going to happen, right? It's going to, because, Kyrie had his eyes set on the Los Angeles Lakers when he was getting traded from the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets management did not want to make that happen, did not want to give it to him. They sent him to Dallas. That Dallas thing blew up faster than a freaking nuke in your face. And they didn't even make the postseason, or didn't even try to make the play-in. But then, he's been teasing that he still is interested in going to Los Angeles, but we're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers and where they're at. And honestly, I don't want Kyrie. So as a Los Angeles Lakers fan, I'm just going to say that, but
it's coming.
We shall see, because it doesn't look like, it looks like Chris Paul's days in a Phoenix Suns jersey are about numbered, and it seems the same thing with DeAndre Ayton. But don't want to take too much of the focus off the Denver Nuggets, the number 1 seed going into the Western Conference side of the playoffs. And Nikola Jokic, a guy that we said should have probably won the MVP this season, averaging 24.5 points per game, 12 rebounds and nearly 10 assists, nearly a triple-double for the regular season on 63% from the field and 38% from three. Do you know how much he averaged in the playoffs? Jesus.
Jokic?
Yes.
35.
No, not that much. Okay. But I know you got to run, so you can go run, but I'll let the people know. Jokic in the postseason, 31 points per game, 13 rebounds, nearly 10 assists, steal per game. He averaged that on 55% from the field and 47.5 from three. 47.5 from three for a center. For a center, ladies and gentlemen, this man is having a beastly playoffs. I don't know who can stop him. I actually do, but we'll get to that because we got to preview the next round. But yeah, Jokic's output has just been even higher than his MVP caliber regular season. 31 points per game, 12 rebounds, nearly 10 assists. 47% from three for a center is just it's insane. That's insane in my eyes.
He played like an MVP.
Yeah, he played like the MVP. Definitely, they just put their will over the Phoenix Suns in the last two games. Like I said, Game 5 they won 118 to 102, and then in Game 6 they won 125 to 100. Just completely smacked the hell out of the Phoenix Suns, who couldn't even get the usual output from Devin Booker and Kevin Durant in Game 6. Devin Booker finally shot the ball not as well in those last two games. Game 5, he was 8 of 19 from the field, and then in game 6, he was 4 of 13 from the field, just 12 points overall. KD, I think that we really got to address the fact that the days of saying Kevin Durant is a top 5 player in this league may be over. I don't know about you, but I'm really starting to think that that's the conversation that we need to start having. What do you think?
I don't trust that his body can stay healthy through a full season, but really it's going to be about load management for him. It's just getting ready for the playoffs, because we already know they're going to be a playoff team. It's a matter of if KD can be top 5 in the NBA for at a series at a time. He doesn't have to do it all season long. He just has to do it in the playoffs. And, he balled out. He's a good number 2 to Booker this series, but it just wasn't enough. It's just, you can't expect those two players to just beat a seasoned team that's gelled enough and has the depth to get to where they got to go.
And their core has been together for a number of years now, like 4 or 5 years now. So they have really kind of built to the team that they are today, the number 1 overall seed in the West. But in this next round, they may be facing their toughest challenge to date in my Los Angeles Lakers, starting off as a play-in team and working their way. We started from the bottom. Now we're here from 2-10 to the Western Conference Finals, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody believed in us except for us. We believed in us, and we made it this far. Rob Pelinka, Executive of the Year, the real Executive of the Year. Austin Reeves, the real Most Improved Player. Anthony Davis, the real Defensive Player of the Year, and LeBron James, the greatest scorer of all time, getting by the Memphis Grizzlies in the first round, and then we faced the reigning, defending NBA champions, the Golden State Warriors, and somehow, some way, in 6 games, we pulled it out. We defeated the Warriors. That 6th game, an absolute destruction of the Golden State Warriors, 122 to 101. LeBron James with his first 30-point game since the NBA Finals of 2020. Game 5 of the 2020 NBA Finals was the last time he scored 30 points in a playoff game. He's got that in game 6, 30 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Golden State Warriors. Let's focus on the losers once again. Romeo, what do you think went wrong for the Golden State Warriors? And what do you think they have to do in the offseason to get themselves back to the NBA Finals or even the Western Conference Finals?
Steph's sidekicks didn't show up. Klay Thompson, what was that? What the hell was that? That was terrible. Do you have his numbers?
Yep.
They were terrible. And Jordan Poole, where the hell were you? What was that?
That's whose numbers I really want to focus on. But we'll start with Klay Thompson, who in the regular season had a very surprisingly great regular season. He played 69 games, which was more than I thought a lot of people thought he would get. But he averaged 22 points per game, 4 rebounds on 43% from the field and 41% from 3. But then in the postseason, not the best. 18.5 points per game, 4 rebounds on 38% from the field and 37% from 3. So he did shoot the 3 ball pretty well, but just overall, he did not shoot the ball well.
Those stats include that one game that he went off against the Kings. They
Yes,
really
yes.
padded the
This is the
stats.
this is the
Yeah.
full
Yeah.
postseason stats. If you just want to
Mhm.
focus on the Lakers series, let's say okay, so game 1 he had 25 points on 9 of 25 from the field. Game 2 he had 30 points on 11 of 18 from the field. But it
Okay.
just when he went to LA, he lost his game in LA, it seems. Because game 3
Trying to dedicate shit to Kobe or whatever.
he had 15 points on 5 of 14. Game 4 he had 9 points on 3 of 11. Game 5 he had 10 points on 3 of 12, and then like you said, game 6 was the worst of the bunch. 8 points on 3 of 19 from the field.
He went ice cold those last 3 or 4 games. Jeez.
Last 4 games, yeah, he
Yeah.
went ice cold.
Oof. And Jordan Poole, man. They gave you all that money for what? To do
For
that?
what, dog? For what,
You
dog? For
hate
that?
Draymond that much? You hate Draymond that much? You want to let him down like this?
Well,
I don't know what you could do to change this team. How can you change it? You're just locked in with these guys, really.
I mean, I would have said to trade Jordan Poole, but it's like who's gonna want that contract with what he delivered in
Not
this
I.
the postseason? Because dude, in the regular season, off the bench, this guy averaged 20 points per game, 4.5 assists on 43% from the field and 34% from three. And then in the postseason, 10 points per game on three with 3.5 assists on 34% from the field and 25% from three. This man even went down his free throw percentage. He went from 87% in the regular season to 76% in the postseason. And then we'll do the same thing we did with Clay, and we'll focus on his Lakers series numbers, which Jesus Christ, you thought Klay Thompson was bad, but it's just like I said with Klay Thompson, he lost his game when they went to LA. This guy lost his game when he missed that shot in game 1. If he makes that shot in game 1, I don't know how his series would have
Which
been.
was a dumb shot. He's 45 feet away. He had time to step up.
This man went 21 points, 7 of 15 in game 1. Game 2, 6 points on 3 of 6. Game 3, 5 points on 2 of 9. Game 4, 0 points, 0 of 4 from the field. Game
Donuts.
5, 11 points on 5 of 14. And then game 6, 7 points on 3 of 10.
Terrible.
Horrible game. Frantic World saying Jordan Poole was trying to show Draymond Green what he is made of.
Those two. Man, that fight affected them a lot more than they tried to let on, you know?
Yeah.
You could just tell. They don't want nothing to do with each other. Well, more so Poole doesn't want nothing to do with Draymond.
Sad case. But yeah, I mean, they got a lot of decisions to make. You know, Draymond has a player option this offseason, which he'll most likely take. It's $27 million. I don't think you're going to get that even with the new contract from the Golden State Warriors. He says he wants to stay with the Warriors. Klay Thompson has one more year left on his deal before he becomes a free agent the next off season. So what do you think they should do with this team, which is still the core? It's still the core that won the championship last season with Wiggins still there. Wiggins got a new contract. Steph Curry's going to
Wiggins
be there.
played good too.
Yeah, Wiggins played pretty well, just not in game 6. Game 6,
Right.
he had 6 points, but he played well in the games that the other guys didn't play well when they went to LA. Game 3, he had 16 points, 6 of 11. Game 4, he had 17 points, 6 of 14. Game 5, 25 points, 10 of 18. He was one of the key factors along with Steph that won that game 5. And then by game 6, less like everybody else, he was 6 points, 2 of 8.
I would want to trade Jordan Poole, but who's going to take this contract? 29 million next year, 31, 34. No, thank you. I don't want that. Unless you want to try and, send off some of the young talent that they have on the bench that's not really getting the burn that they probably deserve.
Kuminga been talking too much shit. Gotta trade him.
Yeah. You got Moody too, There's really no options here to do anything else because everybody's locked in financially.
It's true. It's true. We got Armand who says pool for Randall.
If I didn't like Randall's effort, how am I gonna like Poole's effort?
That's different.
Poole gives you the same effort, but with a smile. They just have, and Randall gives you the same effort with a mean mug.
It's true. It's true. But like I said, with the other series, we can't take any credit away from my Los Angeles Lakers, who really got a great effort from, our big two with LeBron and AD. AD going against the grain with how people believe he plays, even though, he got roasted for the head injury in game 5. He came back hard in game 6 with 17 points, 20 rebounds. But he was really, I feel like he was once again, like we said in the Memphis Grizzlies series, he was the key in this series as well, because game 1, he had 30 points, 11 of 19, 23 rebounds. We win. We lost in game 2. He only had 11 points, 5 of 11. Game 3 and game 4, he averaged 24 points and 14 rebounds in LA. Game 5, he even had a strong game with 23 points, 10 of 18, 9 rebounds. And then game 6, he was just the dominant force on the boards and in the paint playing defense, 17 points, 20 rebounds on 5 of 9 from the field. What did you think about AD in this series?
Well, that's what it's going to take for them to win. He has to put 3 to 4 games good together all in a row. He can't be a roller coaster of up and down, because then you're asking way too much out of the role players, which, you're getting stuff out of the role players on the Lakers. But now you're asking for too much if AD is not AD, or if AD is getting hurt and he's out the game. You see LeBron's face at the end of that game when AD got hurt? He's like, you got to be kidding me.
He's like, oh
So
shit,
pissed.
here we go again.
Luckily for him, I don't know what the doctors did, what they gave AD, but he was cured. He's ready to go, and he was himself.
Gave him an aspirin. Gave him an aspirin for his headache.
And I like to kill AD when it's worth it, but you also have to give props when he actually shows up, which he did.
He definitely did, and so did Austin Reeves, who I feel he's made this feel like a big 3 in the playoffs. He has made this feel like a big 3 for the Lakers. He hasn't averaged, crazy numbers, but just good enough to be the 3rd best player on this team. In the postseason, he's averaging 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists on 43% from the field, but 39% from 3. He's really just come through for the Lakers. LeBron James is LeBron James, and he's been very consistent throughout the postseason, much like he was throughout the regular season. I got his numbers right here. The regular season, he averaged 29 points per game, 8 rebounds, 7 assists on 50% from the field, 32% from 3. His shooting numbers have not been that good, and his scoring numbers, he's really kind of took a back seat to Anthony Davis and put the ball more in Austin Reeves' hands. But he's averaging 23 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 block and 1 steal per game in the playoffs. So that's all you really need from LeBron if AD is going to be AD and deliver. And I think that's going to be the key matchup coming into the Western Conference Finals. So let's preview the Western Conference Finals. How do you think it pans out? We got the Nuggets, the number 1 seed, versus the 7 seed, my Los Angeles Lakers. I'm not going to be surprised by what you're predicting here. What do you think is going to be the outcome?
I think it's going to be a really good series. The Lakers are showing depth. No, you didn't mention D'Angelo Russell's playing well. You had the Lonnie Walker game. Lonnie Walker's going to start contributing.
Rui Hachimura game we had in the Memphis series. It seems like one of these role players keeps stepping up. And that's going to be the key, because we still got players like, Troy Brown and Michael Beasley, who helped us in the regular season, who haven't been getting a lot of time. But if they get the time, it seems like they deliver. Dennis Schroeder was a key in playing defense on Steph Curry in the Warriors series as well, and he's going to be another key factor, especially if he's starting, if he's guarding Jamal Murray in this next round.
Yeah, you could also throw in Vanderbilt to play some defense and absorb some fouls if you need to. Yeah, I think it's going to be a long series. I think it's going 7 games. But going into the playoffs, I said it was going to be the finals, and the Nuggets were going to be a part of that finals. I'm going to stick by that. I think the Lakers are scary if AD is AD, so I do think it goes 7. But I'm going to trust the Nuggets to finally at least get to a damn finals. Overcome LeBron. I trust Jokic. I think Murray is the difference. Murray has to be Murray. He can't be inconsistent. He's got to be more consistent than AD is, to balance out each other, because those are the two guys you're looking at in this series. They're not playing or guarding each other, but they both mean so much to their team's success that I'm going to trust Murray and the Nuggets over AD and the Lakers. But 7 games.
I'm thinking that AD has to be, like you said, very consistent. Not just, I think he's been very consistent on defense, but he has to be very, very consistent on offense because you have to make Jokic play defense. That's the one weakness of Jokic's game. And besides his team effort, that was another reason why I wouldn't say, Jokic was the MVP the last 2 seasons, is because his defense has never been elite. He's never been an elite defender. So if AD can make him work on defense and take that, will kind of negate some of the damage he's going to do on offense. I think that's going to be the real key for the Los Angeles Lakers. My picks for the NBA Finals are out of this. The Warriors was my pick in the West. My Los Angeles Lakers.
You're happy to be wrong about that.
Yeah, I was happy to be wrong about that. And that's why I was playing with house money in this series, because I was like, either I'm going to be right about the Warriors making it to the finals, or my team is going to be making it to the conference finals. And in the East, is similar thing. The Bucks got bumped in the first round, so my finals picks are out of here. So I'm playing with house money. I'm going with my Los Angeles Lakers.
Why not?
In 6 games. We got to get it done in 6 games. If it goes 7, I agree with you. The Nuggets are going to win. But if we are able to steal one on the road in Denver, which is a battle of wills because both of these teams are undefeated at home. So
there you go.
I think the first team who wins on the road might win this series. So
yeah, and the Nuggets probably don't even have to.
And we're playing Tuesday. We're playing on the 16th. And then game 2 is on my birthday, the 18th, this Thursday. So
the Heat won on Jaquan's birthday. So,
hey, Lakers, come on. It's okay. We don't have to win game 1 like we did the last 2 series. As long as we can get one of these on the road and keep consistent at home and stay undefeated at home, I think that we can get this in 6 games. We got Armand in the chat who says Nuggets in 7 games.
Let me give credit to someone.
Romeo.
Let me give credit to the coach Ham, because I think he's gotten a lot out of this team than somebody else would have. You got to give him credit what he's done so far.
I think he's a better coach for this team than Vogel. I think that he knows his personnel now, and he has basically kept them focused on what they needed to be focused on, playing downhill, playing to the basket. The key for the Lakers in these first 2 series is the points in the paint and the free throw differential, and they got to keep that consistent in this series as well, especially if AD is able to, play hard and play in the post with Jokic and get Jokic into foul trouble. I think that will be another key for the Los Angeles Lakers in winning this series. And I think that it's also going to be up to the defense. Like you said, Jamal Murray is probably going to be the X factor for Denver. If Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell and Dennis Schroeder can play solid defense on Jamal Murray, I think that's going to be a crucial element to this game. And also, I think another X factor for Denver is Aaron Gordon. If LeBron can be consistent on defense on him, I think that will kind of make it tougher. I think Jokic's best part of his offense is not only just his scoring, is his assists. So if we can stop all the other players around him, I think that we got this series.
Yes, one of Porter, Gordon, and KCP really stepped up that last game. Yeah. Have to help out Jokic a bit here, because Jokic is going to get tested. It's not going to be as easy. It's not going to be the barbecue chicken alert it was against Ayton. It's not going to be that easy for him. But one of those 3 is going to have to step up and help Murray and Jokic and be consistent. If it's the rotating between the 3 of them, fine. Just every night there has to be that 3rd guy, though.
This is true. And we got Ace in the chat who says, SP3, would you be shocked if Nuggets beat the Lakers in the series? You're asking that question like the Nuggets aren't the number one overall seed in the West. I think that it would be more shocking to the NBA fan base at large if the Lakers win this series. If we can make it to the NBA Finals, I think that would be even if we lose in the NBA Finals, if we make it to the NBA Finals, it has to be considered the greatest turnaround in NBA history.
I think he's asking that question because it seems to me like a lot of NBA fans, Lakers fans included, really have the Lakers winning this matchup.
Well, Nuggets are the favorite in
Yeah.
Las Vegas. They're the
Right,
favorite.
right. No, I'm saying NBA, like fans, just hearing from fans, like who they got in the finals. I'm hearing a lot of Lakers.
Well, I think that's more due to the Lakers kind of surprising them and being convinced by what they've seen so far. And I think, like I said at the top of the show, I think this is the hardest challenge for the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets have pretty much had it easy so far in the NBA playoffs. Honestly, they haven't been fighting like the Los Angeles Lakers have been since March to even get to the play-in into the playoffs. Denver Nuggets have kind of been coasting easy. They had such a big lead on everybody else in the West. They didn't have to play really tough games in the last month or so. And then in the first round, they versed the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's barbecue chicken. And then in the Phoenix Suns series, they're playing 4 players. They're not even playing a 10-player team. They're playing 4 players, and one of the players got injured, and one of the other players is a fucking cone. So they have had it pretty easy. They pretty easy to get to the conference finals. So I think that's the reason why people are picking the Lakers.
I think it'll be an amazing series.
I think so too. We both got it. None of us are saying 5 games. Like this is gonna be a tough, grinded out series, 6-7 games, or like it's gonna be that type of series here.
And either way, it's gonna be, no matter who wins, it's gonna be setting up a good story for the finals, because you either got the Nuggets finally reaching the finals, or you got LeBron James back in the finals. So interesting to me. I'm sure the NBA wants it one certain way. They want LeBron James.
They want LeBron James back in the finals. Come on,
But I like the Nuggets. I'd be excited to see the Nuggets in the finals.
Yeah, Ace also asking, do y'all think that the Nuggets will win their first NBA championship this year? Like I said, I'm going with the Lakers, so I'm going to say no. What about you, Romeo, since you have the Nuggets in the finals?
I had the Celtics beating the Nuggets in the finals, but my opinion can be swayed depending on what happens in both of these conference finals here, how they both look.
Speaking of which, let's talk about the Eastern Conference finals. This is the 3rd time in 4 years Celtics versus the Miami Heat. This now feels like this is the mainline rivalry in the East, because this is now the 3rd meeting in 4 years.
The Sixers choke every damn time.
Yeah,
and the Heat take their spot.
Sixers choke and the Bucks get injured. That's the reason why we keep getting Heat and the Celtics all these years. But it really feels like it's the mainline feud in the East right now. But you say you got Boston Celtics. How many games do you think the Celtics got this year?
This is tricky because I think on paper, on the court, the Celtics are a much better team than the Heat, to me. But the Celtics have one huge disadvantage, and it's not even on the court. It's Mazzulla versus Spoelstra. Spoelstra is so good, and Mazzulla, let's not forget, is a rookie coach.
Replacement coach.
Yeah. What he's doing, what he's done so far, I gotta give him credit. You gotta give him credit, even though he has a loaded team. You gotta give him credit. But Spoelstra's so good. I mean, he could just win a couple games by himself. The big question is going to be, does Tatum carry that momentum that he has right now into this series? If he doesn't, this is going to be a long one. If he does, it could be 5 games. Really. I'm going to say Celtics in 6. I do kind of want to say 7, though.
I think this is going to be a 7-game series, and it really depends on what type of series this is going to be. Is these going to be games that are, dominated by one team or the other in a blowout, or are these going to be close games? In my mind, because of, how well these teams know each other, I think they're going to be close games. And that's why I got the Miami Heat in 7. I think the Miami Heat become the first 8 seed in the NBA playoffs to make it to the NBA finals since the 99 Knicks. And I think it's going to be on the back of Jimmy Butler and on the back of the weakness of the Boston Celtics, which is they choke in these close games. You saw it in the Philly series. You saw it in the Atlanta Hawks series. When the Hawks were able to keep it close, Trae Young got them the win. When the Sixers were able to keep it close in games 1 and game 4, James Harden hit the big shot, the game winners, to get them the win there. But it's when the Celtics are able to put their will and be the better team over these other teams, that's when they've been able to win. All Miami Heat have to do is keep these games close, and I think they got it. And I think I will take the Miami Heat, and Coach Spoelstra, Eric Spoelstra, is the better coach of the two. It's going to be a debate, really, of who has the better player on the court each game. Is it Jimmy Butler or is it Jason Tatum? And I'm going to say that I believe in Jimmy Butler, not as the better player. I think that Jason Tatum is the better player, but I think Jimmy Butler is the better leader for the Miami Heat than what Jason Tatum was. That's what I said when we talked about Tatum in the Philly series, that he didn't always show that he was the leader of the Celtics. And I think that Jimmy Butler, even when he scores 56, 26, 16, he always is the leader of the Miami Heat. And I think he's the better leader on the court. And that's why I got the Miami Heat in 7.
Tatum has to realize that you don't have to play hero ball in this series, because you have a lot more help than Jimmy Butler has. You have Jaylen Brown, who's been consistent, really good. He can bail you out if you're off. Trust in him. Trust in the guys around you. Brogdon, Smart, Horford. They're all playing. They're all consistent. Tatum has been the one that's been up and down. But if Tatum is up, I got the Celtics winning this. Celtics in 6 as Ness. Jimmy can't do it alone as far as scoring. He won't be able to take all those threes like they did against the Knicks.
I think they will. And you've seen it. You've seen it in the Hawks and the Sixers series. When the Hawks were hitting their threes, they were able to steal some games. And that's the same thing with the Sixers. Sixers were able to hit key threes at the right time, and they were able to pull it out. And I think that the Heat are going to be able to do it. People said that the Heat weren't going to be able. They were one of the worst three-point shooting teams, and then became one of the best against the Bucks, who is a better defensive team than the Boston Celtics. I think they're going to be able to hit those threes.
I think the Celtics will give a couple of games away. I just don't think they'll give away 4 of them. I don't like to see what I've seen giving away games to the Hawks and the Sixers. They had no business winning, but they did it anyways. So they've got to stop that shit. They've got to stop that shit, or you will get caught sleeping. But I don't think it's here. I think Celtics in 6.
Either way, I'm good, because you either get the greatest rivalry of all time if my Lakers win and the Boston Celtics win, greatest rivalry in NBA history, reborn with Celtics versus Lakers, or we get a rematch of the bubble with Lakers versus Miami. And that's why I'm going with Miami Heat most of all. It's not even any of the arguments that I'm saying them against Boston. It's I want the bubble rematch to prove all you bubble deniers wrong, that the bubble wasn't a real playoffs. It was the hardest playoffs ever played, and my Los Angeles Lakers were supposed to have home court advantage throughout all of it. So to now then go to the NBA finals and then finally have home court, oh, come on. Give it to me. That's what I need. Inject like Austin Reeves, like D'Angelo Russell. Put it in my veins. It's in my veins. I want Lakers and Miami Heat in the finals.
And meanwhile, I've got the opposite bubble final, the final that never happened. Celtics Nuggets.
We shall see.
I asked you people in the chat. You want to see how the chat voted?
Yes.
12% Celtics Nuggets, 12% Heat Lakers, and tied at 38% is Celtics Lakers and Heat Nuggets.
Wow. That's surprising that Heat Nuggets got higher percentage than Denver and Boston.
Yeah, that is surprising. The NBA would not want Heat Nuggets.
No, they would not. No, they would not. If there's a 3-2 lead in both series and it's Denver and Miami, it's gonna be worse than the Lakers and Kings. It's gonna be worse than the Lakers and the Kings. They're gonna be cheating. They're gonna be out here cheating in these streets. Armand saying Heat in 6 games. He's one of the people that voted Nuggets and Heat. So
they're both intriguing conference finals, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out.
yes, it should be fun. But we'll wrap things up here on this episode of Tru Heel Heat Check by talking about everybody's favorite gun owner, Ja Morant. We do have a comment here from Frantic World who says, quick questions for SP3. What is your thoughts on Ja Morant and his IG post? All I will say is that Ja Morant, you are not a Loke Dog. You are not Loke Dog from Don't Be a Menace in South Central by drinking your juice in the hood. You're just not. You don't need to be like, yo, hold on. Let me get my gap for this IG live every single time. What is wrong with you? We're not Loke Dog. You need to be more like freaking Deshaki's boy, Sean Wayne's. You need to be more like him, less like Low Dog. Stop pulling out guns. Like, that was so stupid. And you could realize his friend had the right of mind to realize when he had a gun in his hand, oh, maybe I should put down this camera. And maybe we shouldn't put it. Yeah, it was already too late.
It's on the internet. It's live.
What do you think about him and his suspension? And apparently the people are saying that his suspension should be into the regular season.
In the grand scheme of things, in a vacuum, I don't think Ja Morant's doing anything wrong. He was showing a gun around. Whoop-de-doo. You're not killing anybody with it. He's a gun owner. It's okay to be a gun owner. It's whatever. But the NBA doesn't like it for its image. Whatever. He's already been punished for it once. The dumb part is coming back, apologizing, saying you need help, going and get that help, then coming back and then doing the same thing again. What? You didn't learn anything. That was a Memphis Grizzlies suspension they gave him. The NBA will be like, okay, we got this suspension. You guys don't know what you're doing. We got this suspension. I think it's going to be something like, 16 to 20 games, maybe double what it was last time. Something around that range. Does he deserve it? But he is an idiot. This is his fault. He knew the NBA doesn't want you doing that. He does it anyways. He doesn't learn. This Memphis culture is a mess. This has been a disaster. They were talking so much shit too. So much shit. They're like the villains of the West now. Who likes the Memphis Grizzlies besides a Memphis fan? I don't even know that many to begin with.
Yes, even Harlem says "uh-oh" when it comes to Ja Morant. But yeah,
a swanton.
Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks. It's like Dylan Brooks don't got a job anymore. Ja Morant's gonna be suspended. I don't know what to say about the.
Ja has too much talent. They're not gonna give up on him at all.
Yeah, no.
But you gotta get in the right mental headspace here.
100%. You do. It's ridiculous. This guy has too much talent, had too much invested in him to be acting this way. And he needs people around him, whether it's his dad, his agents, the people in the Memphis Grizzlies to kind of talk.
No, none of them are connecting. None of them. He needs somebody else.
None of them seem to be connecting with him. Maybe Allen Iverson. I know Allen Iverson is probably the only person that can relate to Ja Morant, but he never did any of this stupid shit. It's ridiculous. It's
Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah, Gilbert Arenas is another one too. But yeah, it's just so stupid. Steven Jackson trying to big him up and stuff. I was like, oh, God.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I think I heard something like that. But
oh my God.
I wanted to ask you to close things off. Do you agree with Stephen A. Smith, what he said on Get Up this morning, where he says due to Zion Williamson's body and Ja Morant's stupidity, RJ Barrett is the best draft pick from that draft.
No, it's too early to close the book on John Morant. I'd still take John Morant. I'd bring those gun problems to New York. I'd gladly take them. Gladly. In a heartbeat.
He's gonna get arrested. You know he's gonna get arrested
in
New
a
York.
heartbeat. And by the way, while you're at it, bring Zion's broken body to the Knicks. I'll gladly take it over what I'm seeing Julius Randle. I'll gladly. I'm not giving up on Zion. I'm not giving up on Ja. And RJ still has much to prove.
This is true. Romeo, please let the people know where they can follow you on social media, what you got going on, Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, your own YouTube channel. There's so much for the people to enjoy. Tell them where they can follow you, sir.
For Romeo Anthony, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. A lot of stuff going on there. Hit the bell for notifications. On the wrestling channel, Tru Heel Heat Wrestling, we'll have watch-alongs all week, like tonight with Monday Night Raw, Tuesday Annex 3, Wednesday Dynamite, and some big pay-per-views coming up these following weekends, so join us for all that action, that fun.
Yes, we got this weekend New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence is going to be on Sunday, so you can check us out. We'll do a watch along for that. We got a preview coming out with myself and Jay News on Friday for that. Like Romeo said, 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight, Rated Raw Superstars over on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. I'll be back on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel Thursday, my birthday, for AE Ramble, 1:05 p.m. Eastern time, a special SP3 birthday edition of AE Ramble, talking all things over there. If you like me talking about NBA basketball, join me and Jeremy Lambert tomorrow, 8:35 a.m. Eastern time for FMC on Fightful Overbooked, where, yes, I will give everybody SP3's Laker Sermon, LMC, Laker Morning Church, tomorrow at 8:30 a.m., 8:35 a.m. Eastern. And talking about John Morant, we got Frantic World. This is John Morant is acting like Papa Doc. 100% he is. We also got Armand, who says, in the words of Randy Orton, stupid. And Ness says, Ja don't want to end up in Rikers. That gun shit will go right out the window. Exactly. He ain't coming to New York. He know how strict they are about gun rights in New York. But thank you so much, Romeo, for filling in for Chris G, me, Chris G, and maybe even Romeo. We need to just make you a regular guest. If you got the time, we'll make you a regular host on THHC. But until next time, until the NBA Finals preview and Conference Finals review, that has been Romeo. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. This has been Tru Heel Heat Check number 7. Conference Finals preview. We are signing off until next time.